We are live. Hello, hello. I'm Fernanda, teacher and founder at DeRose Meditation. And again, I have Nuno here with me, also teacher, also founder, and also a finder. Hello, Nuno. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy birthday to you. It's a very
Thank
special day for all
you.
of us.
Yes, thank you.
How's your day going so far?
Very good. Actually, couldn't be better. Thank you.
Nah, good to know. Good to know.
So, no, today we're going to talk about this subject that I know that's very special for you since I do your classes. I know you pay a very good attention to it. That is flexibility.
Yeah.
And our approach on flexibility, I think this is the most interesting part. But before we arrive there, I would like to ask you to explain a little bit why we should do flexibility. Why should we train flexibility? Like, what's the point? How
hmm
come? So, if you can start explaining a little bit the objective of the flexibility, because frequently people say, "Oh, I'm not going to do yoga because I'm not flexible. I'm not interested in putting my feet on my head or bringing my leg here." It's not about that. And I would like you, since you are someone that really enjoys the flexibility and also you can recognize the beauty of that, this is not the objective. So I'd like to hear from you your point of view about that.
Good. So I think one of the main objectives of flexibility is to reduce the stiffness of the body.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of people with that issue in very
Mm-hmm.
simple things, such as seated on a chair, on a couch, having a hard
Mm-hmm.
time to get in or out of bed. So, and flexibility is the training that will unlock that everyday movement, that mobility somehow. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, when you're doing the classes, if you put flexibility out, the class will be extremely hard. You need to develop flexibility to get stronger. You need to develop flexibility to be better at breath work. You need to develop flexibility in a very wide vision, not to make those crazy positions. If you want, that's perfect. It's doable with our
Mm-hmm.
trainings, but that's
Mm-hmm.
not the main intention. It is to give you structure. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Like that.
Uh,
Give you
yeah.
structure. Perfect.
And another thing, when we compare that to other body exercises, even when you see it on a gym or even athletes doing, they put like they are very picky with the strength training, but then they just do like fast flexibility, or they do flexibility slash relaxation. Mm, level up the flexibility importance in your trainings, and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
see great results.
I just,
And so
I'm
it is
sorry.
important. Go ahead. I just finished.
It reminded me of this passage in Professor DeRose's book about another teacher criticizing him and telling him that in her methodology, they didn't do asanas, they didn't do body techniques because it was yoga. So everything they did, it was meditation, not anything else, because this is what matters, meditation. And he said, okay, I respect you, but like a few moments later, someone arrived and asked, "Oh, Jane Doe, how's your back going?" And she said, "Oh my goodness, it's so sore that I'm not being able to meditate." Right.
Yeah, kind of
I think this
the
explains a
thing.
lot.
Yes, yes, and probably you see, like very recently we have the World Cup, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And even when you see, they are like top tier athletes, they are competing there in football, but still they are very good athletes. But then when they are warming up, leaving the locker room, it seems almost silly. Like,
Yes.
come on, you train so many hours, like it's your life, and you have a very short uh, professional lifespan, and you train a lot, but for the flexibility, you're just not even scratching the surface, and they
Mm-hmm.
are very stiff. You see, uh, so I think that making flexibility something important for your physical well-being. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete or if you are an architect, do it the same way. Move your body, bring that mobility, bring that flexibility, be able to tie your shoelaces every day for the rest of your life.
To wash our
Yeah, okay.
food during the
Yeah.
during the shower. And it's interesting because you were talking about the soccer players. They are so vulnerable to have physical injuries. And usually, when they do, they are apart from playing for like months. And maybe if they did good flexibility exercise, those injuries would drop like almost
Hmm.
vertical drop, but they do this poor flexibility
Yeah.
training. You're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
But now we see that more recently, it's a very, very recent stories that have been shared on social media mostly, that you
Hmm.
bring names such as Cristiano Ronaldo or Haaland from Norway, saying that the yoga practice is part of their core training and it's
Hmm.
not an add-on to their trainings.
Hmm.
And so I
Hmm.
think there's a chance there that they are doing more flexibility. And
Hope
with that,
so, hope so.
it's not just about flexibility, but it's
Hmm.
also about flexibility.
Hmm. Yeah.
For example, I was never a sports guy, never in
Hmm.
my life. So everything that I accomplished, it was through our practice. All the strength that I can do, all the flexibility that I have, it's just pure result of that. People ask me, "Were you an athlete? Were you a dancer?" No, I wasn't. Okay, it's all part of that. Um, so that means even if you're not flexible and you're questioning, should I do a DeRose class, yes or no? I would say yes. I was not flexible at all when I first started, and I was able to accomplish great things. And so we all start from zero,
Hmm.
and that's the point. Okay, even like this week, I was having a student with issues with flexibility. I was there close to her saying, do you need any help? I think you should do like this or that. That's because I'm not flexible. I had to say, that's why we are training flexibility.
Right.
It's not something that you need to be flexible to be able to do a class. Opposite. Okay. Even if you have zero or negative flexibility, you're welcome to come to the
Hmm.
class. Okay.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to develop that like I did 20 years ago when I first started. I was not flexible. And my teachers were patient. I was disciplined, and then I was able to do. I'm still able to do a lot of crazy stuff because of that.
And I was going to add up something. No, no. Even though you say, you know what? Even though I don't want to practice yoga, I don't like meditation. Okay, even those should train flexibility, because if you wanna grow old health, you should be able to be independent. And there is not independency without flexibility. The same way you need to train your strength, the same way you need to train your balance, you do need to train your flexibility. Like to do the most silly and basic things in your daily routine, you need to have flexibility. You gave the example of lacing the shoes or washing the feet during the shower. Like these things, they are important. It is important that you can stretch to reach something without getting a cramp in your back, and this is through flexibility training. So,
Hmm.
and it's not going to be enough if you arrive to 70 and say, oh, now I'm going to train my flexibility because I saw Nono's and Fernanda's podcast and they said that I need to train my flexibility to grow. No, you have to do that 30, 40, 50 years earlier than that. So, worst case scenario, train your flexibility to have a decent uh,
Future.
life when you are older, or a decent future. Thank you, no.
Yeah.
And moving on to the next subject, inside flexibility, you told me you are not a sports person, but do you have any experience in other ways to train flexibility? You gave the soccer players example that was perfect, but do you know other examples of of yours, or someone else's?
Yeah, I think I will have more feedback from my students that they
Hmm.
are athletes or they do other sports.
Hmm.
And because for us here in the Rose, being close to our students, it is one of our values. It's not just a number, it is a person that has a history. Uh, and so, what I see, for example, I had a professional climber for years as a student, Philippe, and and because of flexibility, he was able to do so many other things. And it was not just the flexibility that he was developing because he was so strong. As you can imagine, those fingers were like Hulk fingers, as you can imagine. Really, really, he was so strong. But then he understood that that gain of flexibility when climbing a wall, you could reach with your foot amazing access points when climbing. So that means
Hmm.
you are opening possibilities and not reducing. Is not he can be really strong and hold on the tip of his fingers, but still, if he's flexible, maybe it's the tip of the toes that will be able to move on climbing. So that was a really good experience. Another one was from martial arts. Fernando was a great, great teacher, a very authentic martial arts teacher. Uh, and so he related a lot with our practice. As we know, our practice is ancient, our martial arts are ancient too. And he said, for the first time, there's someone else besides me saying, you don't need to warm up. The practice is the warm up.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
warm up while you are doing stuff. You don't need to do a pre warm up. Go, start, and move your body that way. And so, also, that was very interesting to see in him. Uh, but in terms of flexibility, it was the openness because martial arts are very close to protect your vital organs. So their posture in combat is defensive.
Uh-huh.
And then when he started doing backward flexions, lateral flexions, it seems like his torso expanded in size just because of that. And it's like, oh, that's crazy because it's important, everything that I do, but of course I need to counter execute somehow. I need to do the opposite of what I'm doing hours teaching martial arts. It was through backward flexions, lateral flexions, even torsions were so important to him.
Hmm.
Let's see other athletes. I had swimmers as well, uh, that they were great in empty retentions and full retentions. Their lungs were like out of the world, but the shape of the spine was not in a good shape.
Hmm.
And so asana flexibility were able to put everything in the right spot, and so on. I could list many other examples of how important and how much it expands the quality of their performance. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the uniqueness of our practice is how complete and comprehensive it is. uh, because we have this tendency of equalizing everything. We train flexibility, but we train strength. And we train with the eyes open, we train with the eyes closed. And then we train full retention with the lungs, and we train empty retention with the lungs, and so on. We train awareness with mantra, and then we train relaxation with, and so on. And it's so vast, so open, which helps a lot of the athletes that I were privileged to have them as students to expand their quality of life as athletes.
Good, good. No, no. Since we follow a lot of people, I do it and you do it. Um, we can say by experience, not by science, but with our observation of ourselves and our students, that when you work your flexibility, your body flexibility, you are also working your mental flexibility. Have you noticed that in your students, in yourself? Do you have any story to share with us?
Yeah, many stories to share. Uh, a flexible person in terms of personality will very easily develop physical
Mm,
flexibility. A more narrow minded person in terms of personality will have a hard time developing flexibility.
of course.
I'm not saying that is black and white only. There's a lot of gray areas, of course, but uh, I think there's a pattern there. Like there's a tendency to see that the personality and the body flexibility are kind of related, the same way as strength. Someone that
Mhm.
has a strong personality, if they go to the gym, probably they will
Tends to
develop a
be
lot of
stronger
strength.
physically. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not a rule. It's not going to be necessarily like that. But I already saw people that they are really flexible with their bodies, but not the personality. But I would say that definitely when you work your flexibility, you are going to be more flexible in your thoughts, in your ideas, in your routine, in your work. I think
yeah,
this is something that it's really noticeable, right?
yeah. I think the soft skill that is underneath flexibility, if we consider flexibility as a hard skill, and then if we consider the soft skill, which is underneath, it is playing with your limits. Because
Mm,
of course we don't want to get hurt practicing.
of
So it means
course.
when you are doing a position, imagine a forward flexion,
Mm-hmm.
the one that we call Upavishta Konasana. In
Mm-hmm.
English, is quite a very common name is pancake. When you bring your legs apart and you bring your torso forward down towards the floor. Um, I got lost. I was
You were
saying, help
talking
me.
about training flexibility and how this is going to impact your personality to
Yeah,
bring more flexibility to your personality.
yeah. Then I saw I mentioned that we don't want to get hurt. So the thing is, I'm doing a position that is working your pelvic opening and forward flexion at the same time in that specific position. And so that means you are kind of afraid of hurting the back of your thighs, your arm strings. That's kind of the most common thing that you are afraid of. So if you're mindful, and I hope you are, and we train you as students to be mindful, you are checking your limits. Say, can I relax? Yes. Can I go further? Not now. Breathe a little bit. I'm going to breathe. And now, can I go a little bit further? Yeah, just half a millimeter, and you go half a millimeter, and so it goes. So your brain, the soft skill that you're training with physical flexibility is getting close to the limit and pushing the limit forward. The
And
perception of your limit.
negotiating.
Yeah. So you have a perception of your physical limit, and you
Hmm.
are behind that limit and trying to push it forward, 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 forward. If you transpose that to your life, you're training to be a more flexible, I even say open-minded kind of personality.
Yeah, true,
Okay.
true. I agree. I
So,
agree. I agree.
yeah. And if we think the opposite, a person that is very straightforward in a way, like very rules, math, absolute truth, you will have a hard time. Say, no, that's
Mm,
my limit, period. Can you
mm,
try to go a little bit further? No, that's my limit because I already assume that that's my limit. So that personality will have a hard time. So it needs more training to say, okay, that's your limit now. So if you start breathing, you're gonna question again if that's still your limit. Oh, okay. And then that's how we train that soft skill of expanding your limits, negotiating with your limits for a personality that is more black and white, zeros and
mm-hmm,
ones.
mm-hmm.
Okay, but you can
Okay.
work. It's gonna work. Okay, just gonna take more time.
True, true. And no, no, I'd like to go before we finish to the explanation on how we do our flexibility trainings. Of course, if you have an hour training and you have to pass through 8 groups of techniques, and the physical techniques are only one of those, and you still need to do a balance practice. So you're not going to work intensively your flexibility in each class. But let's say that you are going to give a flexibility training. You want to explain a little bit the step by step that we're going to pass through and the techniques that we're going to stack up to do a flexibility training. And
Hmm.
this way, we're going to show why our training is different from the other trainings that we can find at gyms or at ballet schools or uh, at training centers for athletes.
Yeah, I would say like if we decide one position to do, imagine that
Mhm.
I'm standing, feet together. I'm going to do a forward flexion, folding
Okay.
myself forward. Okay. So if you just see the position, like a photo of that position,
Mhm.
uh, and if you're not experienced with our approach, maybe you're just going to fold yourself down, trying to touch your toes, because the position, the photo reminds that.
Yes.
Okay. But for us, because we have this choreography concept always present. So the way that you assemble, the way that you hold the position, and the way that you return, they are equally important for the performance itself.
True.
And so, if assembling is important, let's stretch. So
Hmm.
if I want to do a forward flexion, it will be nice for your spine to first stretch up, elongate your spine. Go, 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 up, 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 up. And then with that sense of tension of your spine, then you start doing a forward flexion. And that will be so different. That detail. Second detail is we don't do the uh, that spring looking, that like you insist like micro movements trying to insist to develop flexibility. We don't do that. We assemble the position, like we stretch up, arms up, your spine completely vertical, and then you fold yourself forward, and then you stop there. Do any movement, like stop motionless there. Allow
Mhm.
yourself to be motionless to develop flexibility. Okay, I did it. Now you're going to understand that the force of gravity is going to help you. So if
Mhm.
you observe the weight of your head, not the weight of your consciousness, the weight of your head, then you're going to notice that your head is heavy and it's kind of helping you to stretch a little bit more, develop flexibility. Good. Okay, so I have someone helping me. What else? Relaxation. Relaxing the muscles is the best way to develop flexibility in our point of view. If you
Mhm.
relax the muscles, that means the tissues, the composition of your muscles are not engaged, and so they can stretch. It's even easy to imagine if you're not engaged, they are disengaged, they become more flexible. Got it. Okay, I'm starting to notice that, but more permanence. It works with long holds. Got it. And then I can use breath. I can use breathing techniques to help me. I can use localization of consciousness. And most of the times I'm localizing in the wrong spot, which is not the grocery store list, which is not the email that you need to send. But even in positions like I'm giving this example, is not about touching the floor with your fingers. Is about stretching the back of your body. All the muscles from the back of your body are under a huge extension of dimension. So that's where you should place your attention.
Mhm.
There, the back. Oh, okay. Can I mentalize? Yes, only positive things. So you cannot say, oh, this is so hard. Don't do that. Oh, I'm not flexible. Don't do that. Oh, when does this end? Don't do that. Mentalize touching the floor. Mentalize touching your knees with your forehead. Mentalize like amazing stuff. Use your mind and your mental voice to leverage your performance, not the opposite. And this is just what we could give in a beginner's class.
Cool,
Okay, it
cool.
was a lot of information here. Like if you follow these instructions and you train by yourself, you're going to notice huge improvements on your flexibility.
Good, no, no, very good. And you know that in Portuguese, since Larissa, she's a researcher and she's a science person, she gave us a lot of very useful information that we were not able to share today, but we're gonna send to you in the email and in the blog. So if you want to know more, follow our blog, read our email, because there's going to be a lot of important information there. It's going to add a few more things to this beautiful conversation. And we are talking about flexibility because we are going to have a flexibility challenge. So stay tuned. Soon we're going to give you more information, and let's go together to work on our physical flexibility, not just to reach the floor with the palms of your hands, but also to have a beautiful future and flexible and independent, but also to learn to be more flexible in your daily life. So, we hope to see you in our challenge. See you in a week and have a mindful week. Bye
Have a
bye.
mindful week. Bye bye.